Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. So, I just had a really interesting conversation, and I don't want to share it with you guys because this is true. It doesn't matter what you're looking at or what you're going through. Had a really good conversation with somebody who's a influential marketer. He's been doing this for 20 years or 10 years, over 10 years, 15 years. Uh, Understanding the psychology of sales and how most entrepreneurs just become marketers selling marketing, if that makes sense, right? Because you become an influencer, and how do you become an influencer? You do that by triggering the survival response, right? And I haven't learned a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to share with you on my YouTube channel because this is what people use. You trigger the survival response in somebody, and you trigger the survival response because that's basic needs, right? If you can trigger someone's survival response, like I'm not, uh, I can get, I need to get this, right? And it's all about like most of the stuff you see when it comes to advertising is getting clients. How do you get clients? Can I get more clients? Do you need to get clients? That's the question, right? How do you become self sufficient without getting clients? How do you naturally attract what it is you need? How do you become more attractive? Uh, you see it on tarot card readers channels, right? Because you're trying to create a beautiful image to attract an audience, and at the same time, uh, by creating that image, and people aren't actually attracted to your content, then uh, they like what you have to offer. So a lot of times you're feeding into the survival response in ways. You know, the best way, and this is for me, and this is my own channel, and this is for you guys. I want to create avenues where we're all self sufficient. We don't need to, let's say, like, I can do something where I don't need to attract a lot. I can pour energy back into the system to create balance. That's the problem with entrepreneurship is a lot of times it leads to narcissism, right? You leave uh, systems where people are narcissistic, right? You're being controlled. You hate the job you're at. You have this hierarchical structure where people are controlling one another. Then you leave and become an entrepreneur. Okay, I want to help people work together, right? So that's the idea. I want to help people work together. After a while, it stops working because, well, it works and you can teach people, but at the same time, you make enough money where you don't want to work with anybody else, right? And if somebody does work for you, maybe they're picking leads up for you and you're just paying them less, and you're because they're just picking up leads. Super like imbalanced system, all because of money. Money is the only reason why it's imbalanced that way. And then you think, okay, well, how do you live in a world without money? Um, well, you can create you can create groups that don't have differences of potential within them, and at the same time, you don't really. If you pull money out of the system in the right way, you're not tied together in a monetary contract, if that makes sense, right? You still have to be able to attract people because if you're not attracting people, you're not helping anybody, right? The idea is you really want to empower and help other people. So if you're not attracting people and you're not empowering people and helping people in the right way, um, you're not going to, even if you become self sufficient, right? You can make money in the market and just completely unplug from the system, right? I could and completely do that, but I'm never going to stop my YouTube channel because I love you guys, and there's no way that I could ever just be do things for myself and never offer anything to anybody else. Um, but you still have to teach how to, and this is why I love you guys and why I will continue. I will always have my YouTube channel. I was gone this weekend, and normally I make YouTube videos. I'll make YouTube videos daily as long as I'm here. But I was gone this weekend helping a friend with his mom's place because he's a friend, and we've helped each other for years. Uh, The reason is because you want to elevate at the personal level, irregardless of anybody else, right? Being able to make sure that you're creating the right boundaries and you're not reacting to other people's negative emotional responses, things like that, right? To be secure in yourself, to make sure that you're doing the right things for yourself in the right way. You're mastering yourself that way, right? It's a process for sure. So, how do you balance that? If you go into entrepreneurship and you're selling a service, after a while, if you make 5, 6, 10, say I make $10 million, and if I'm just keeping that in my pocket, and I'm not reinvesting into the community in the right way, because you can do it the wrong way, and that's why people don't do it. And the reason that they don't do it is because their discernment never gets to the place where it needs to. Some of the best people with the best discernment out there, and this is something that I believe in, and so if you're watching this video, connecting with other psychics on YouTube who are reading cards or giving psychic messages in some way, because you're feeling the group collective, and you've gotten good enough at it where you can feel the group collective and what the group collective needs. And all of us need balance. We need a balanced lifestyle, a balanced way so we don't fall into too much empathy, where we're doing too much for other people, not taking care of ourselves, or falling into too much narcissism, where all we're doing is pulling energy out of the system and then trying to say, well, you can do the same thing that I can do, right? But not actually working together. Because as long as we stay as free radicals in the system, little dots, nothing changes. We're still empowering that system to feed off of us, right? You're giving control over an entity that's providing you a means of exchange. How do you solve that problem? There's only one way to solve that problem, and it's why I've been suppressed in a lot of ways. And I could list off them so numerously, I couldn't even start. But there's always places where we can go to where we can be supported, right? And you have to master yourself in ways and make sure that you're doing things for other people and creating a balanced lifestyle for each other. There is a way that you can feed back into the community where we're all self-sufficient. We're not tied to each other financially, but doing the things for each other that we need to do for one another in order to grow. Yeah. What could be more important than that, right? Where we're all working towards a common goal and teaching people how to build things for each other and become self-sufficient. So you don't have to worry about getting clients, or you don't have to worry about creating a YouTube channel that gets 1 million views every day in order to survive, right? That's the last thing any of us really want to do. All of us just want to live. And if we had our way, right, we're all just going to walk off into heaven together. And we are going to do that. As long as you have faith and you believe in yourself and you love yourself, just make sure you're loving on yourself and you're not blaming any of your woes on anybody else, right? It's really hard to do, because especially if there's a lot of people around you that are really suffering. And you got to do what you can as much as you can for people, but you can only do so much, right? People have to want to help themselves. So I know this is resonating with you guys. The comments that I get, and there's a couple of you that make comments on this channel who you guys know what I'm talking about. And it is in our hearts to make sure that we're helping the organism around us. The most challenging part is in a system that relies on money to create a balance within that system that's benefiting everybody that's in that system, if that makes sense, right? The only way that I know how to do that would be to pull energy back out of the system and refeed the organism in the right way. Refeed the people with the highest discernment to make sure that we're all create a branching organism to feed the organism that needs it the most, and that's going to be by divine inspiration. You're gonna know who it is that you can refeed that is healthy for that environment, where you've mastered your emotional states and you've gotten yourself to a place where you can be at peace in every moment, and it doesn't matter what's going on around you, right? You can bring healing energy to the people around you. Yeah. And you're never in that fight or flight syndrome, because you're most susceptible to ads, people coming at you with all kinds of, hey, you get more clients, you get more leads. You're always susceptible to that fight or flight response. If you're in the fight or flight response, and your health's going to be poor because you're going to be aging, because you're always, afraid that you're going to die or whatever. David Wilcock made a really good live video yesterday about the law of one, and how the law of one is really that state of Buddha where you're okay in the conflict. There can be conflict, there can be crap happening around you, and you can be just, and you're just that law of one. You're okay with the conflict. There's always going to be the conflict out there, and you can heal it, but you have to heal it in the right way. Part of the conflict is just going to, people in conflict, if they want to be in conflict, there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to pause here for my local video. Sorry guys, I got just hammered like for 4 hours. I was trying to start this video this morning and I almost forgot what I was talking about. I was just like, bang. And so anyway, it all comes down to breathing, right? So, the energetic shift we're getting ready to go through, I can tell you, is there's so many people that are kind of breathing in from their environments. When you're doing any kind of business thing or anything, always figure out a way for both of you to make money. Because if you're both not making money, all you're doing is just charging for a service, then what are we doing, right? I mean, who wants to just charge for knowledge, right? So if you can create a way where both parties can create wealth, you can create wealth for both parties at the same time that you're exchanging knowledge. Because if there's one thing that I learned, and this is true, I'm sure, for every single one of you guys, is that there's always something that we learn from each other, right? It's never a one-way relationship. It's never, you might be paying for something for somebody to learn, but that person, by teaching it, is learning just as much as you are. I guarantee you. Learning about themselves, learning about how to express themselves. So, yeah. It's that simple, right? So, Lightspeed investing. If you're interested in Lightspeed investing, that's something that I am actively promoting, because if you can learn how to navigate the markets, you're never going to be dependent on anybody else for money. Right? Money does not necessarily equal security, because the relationships that we have with ourselves and other people takes primary seat to anything else. Money is just a secondary thing, right? Don't ever think about money as the end result of anything. It's only there temporarily until all of us have mastered ourselves and we're living in a much higher state. A large enough percentage are living in a much higher state of awareness where we're providing for each other in a really balanced way. Yeah. Or we just ascend in it. We're all gods and goddesses, right? We're all flying around, shooting laser beams out of our eyes. Yeah. So let's see what the cards have to say today. The Magician and we are neutralizing. We're dealing with conflict, right? The Magician is dealing with conflict. Hi guys, that was the third time I tried making this video. So I'd like to look at this from another perspective. So the Magician and the Five of Swords is, and the Magician is showing that you kind of mastered, the four aspects and are moving in this reality, your will, your emotions, your intellect, and fruits of the spirit. But we might be a little inner conflicted, right? This could be maybe the direction that we're going is causing conflict in our lives. And I'll be honest with you, when I talk about that investing proposal, there are some aspects of that that aren't necessarily in 100% agreement with, what I'm trying to do, right? I mean, or my understanding of the state of reality, right? Because when you're not in balance, it will manifest in an imbalance of what's out there in front of you. At the same time, we're trying to provide for each other, right? We're breathing out and then breathing in. And so we can move energy, but if done in the right way, it's balanced. If it's being done the wrong way, it will cause conflict, right? Because the last thing that I want, or that we want for any of us, is to have one person where it feels like there's an imbalance in our relationships when we're working together. None of us want that, right? So let's keep drawing the cards. I've turned my ringer off on my phone. All right, so let's see what this potential conflict is. Maybe it's just a state of awareness that we need to get to, where we're maybe more in touch with something else, or it's a boundary we need to set. I don't know. Queen of Wands. So we're taking action. Is this where we're conflicted? It could be what we're attracting. Maybe we're attracting things that are coming at us that are not, and maybe in our best interest. Are we conflicted with what's coming at us? And in the same token, you can also look at it this way, because I just pulled the Ten of Cups, right? This card just came out. Beautiful card, right? This is emotional fulfillment. It could be that there's always, coming into conflict with other energies out there when we're doing these things. Take it as it resonates, right? I mean, leave the rest behind. This is for entertainment purposes only. What else do we got? Ten of Cups. Three of Pentacles. Working together. This reminds me always, this is always, we're kind of learning from each other, right? In groups. Somebody giving instruction to groups of people. A little bit different than the Hierophant. This is more like taking turns. To me, this is like taking turns drawing up plans for something. Ace of Pentacles. Seedling stage of what we're doing. In the seedling stage. Death and the King of Pentacles. This is leaving the past behind. And, sitting in our, the King has a lot of responsibilities, right? The King of Pentacles, if you're moving a lot of energy, he's got a lot of responsibility. Let's get an advice card. I would like to see how this resonates with you guys, because a lot of times, to me, this is kind of the end of a transition card, and so you're starting a new project. And this is letting go of conflicts, right? There's no conflict in this card. So to me, this is saying a lot of things about your external and setting the right boundaries to make sure that you're not letting conflicts into your life, right? Nine of Cups. Emotional fulfillment at the same time. A lot of good cards. Let's see what our Oracle deck has to say. How was your guys' weekend? I got a lot of sun. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit crispy. Not crispy. I tan pretty decently, but the first one is always the worst one, right? Still use a little bit more on the back, you know. Golden Crown. That's a good thing, right? The Golden Crown. This is a connection to our higher selves, right? We're connecting to our higher selves and having a little bit better idea as to how we're connecting with people energetically. Celebration. I don't think it gets much better than this, right? I mean, we've got the Magician, which is second only to the Fool. Now, anytime you're the Magician, you're going to run into conflict. I don't think there's any way to avoid, because, you know, I started what I was talking today about the only way to really heal the body is to bring conflict to the body. And this is something that took me a long time to understand. And like I said, you know, either soft conflicts and hard conflicts. And the best ones are soft conflicts where we do things out of love and understanding for the people around us, and understand that the things out there aren't what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve this inner state. And then the things out there will just naturally take their course, right? And everything moves in the right direction. So, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And be blessed, and I appreciate you guys so much. See you in the next one.